Welcome to News 6. Today's News 6 is being presented by Mr. Cook's reading class from Northridge Elementary in Wapakoneta, Ohio. The phone company in Wapak is an independent company that can boast about its low rates. Tom Fickelmeyer has a look at that story.
Thanks, David. In a time when the price of almost everything is going up, one company in Wapakoneta has managed to keep the prices the lowest in the state. The telephone service company has served Wapak and the surrounding area for 83 years. Their claim to fame is the price of a telephone call at the local payphones. News 6 has made a phone call and got the scoop.
Hello, this is Brooke Bertram, and where else in America except Wapakoneta, Ohio, could you make a nickel phone call? I'd like to speak to the president of the phone company, please. Hello, Mr. Hudson. Our News 6 team would like to interview you.
Yes, come right over. Boy, you got here quickly.
You have to be fast in television. Thank you for seeing us. We have a few questions to ask you. When was your company first founded?
In the year 1888.
How many square miles does your company operate?
Our company operates in a 10-mile square area, including Wapakoneta, Cridersville, Uniopolis, St. John's, and Moulton, Ohio.
How can you keep local phone rates at only 5 cents, and how do your rates compare with other companies in this area?
All of our rates are the lowest in the state of Ohio, and we also have the best service in the state of Ohio.
Is it true you've had only 2 rate increases since 1952?
This is true, one in 1952 and one in 1975.
We've heard that your company has a special scholarship program. Can you tell us about it?
Our company has 50% of its stock in the House Helms Foundation, which is a foundation that grants scholarships for worthy boys and girls in this area.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Hudson. And this is Brooke Bertram for News 6.
Most high school students keep busy with school, sports, and part-time jobs. One student in Wapak not only works part-time, he is the boss. Here with that story is David Lytle.
Thank you, David. Mike Perry is a student in Wapakoneta. He's also the owner of Mike's Bike Shop. He started in this business because he thought it would be fun and because there is no other bike shop in Wapakoneta that sells BMX racing bikes. Mike knows a lot about bikes because he races. He is a good mechanic and can fix almost any type of bike. He also converts regular bikes to BMX racing bikes. He receives most of his new bikes from Detroit, California, and Columbus. He is expecting more bikes to display and sell in his shop. We think it is amazing that a 17-year-old kid named Mike Perry could own such a neat bike shop at such a young age. We wish him good luck in the future.
Thanks, David. Many people in our community have hobbies, but one lady in Wapakoneta makes her hobby as colorful as possible. Missy Barhorst has that story.
Thanks, David. Mrs. Linda Baker's hobby is stained glass. She creates beautiful designs on paper and then recreates the design with all colors of glass. She has been making stained glass windows, mirrors, lamps, mobiles, and sun catchers for the last 2 years. Mrs. Baker took some classes to learn her hobby, but mostly she is self-taught. She uses a very unique foil method to construct her stained glass designs. Recently, she described how she makes a stained glass cupboard door for our News 6 crew.
You start with a design, make your own patterns. Sometimes the patterns come, for instance, in a lamp. This is my glass cutter that I use, and we simply apply the pressure to it, break it very cautiously. I grind it on this grinder to remove all rough edges. Then I apply a copper foil this copper foil has an adhesive back to it, and I wrap each piece of glass. I center that on the tape, wrap each piece of glass with this copper foil, and after that we are able to solder right over the copper foil, which gives us a nice bead effect.
Mrs. Baker will display her work at the Arts and Crafts Show sponsored by the Wapakoneta Decker Club, Saturday, November 21st at Wapakoneta High School.
Thanks, Missy. Wapakoneta became known nationwide a number of years ago when one of its former residents became the first man to walk on the moon. Don Schoolcraft has that story.
Thanks, David. Neil Armstrong walked on the moon in 1969. He was a former resident of Wapakoneta. In fact, his parents still live there. To commemorate this astronaut and his historical walk, a museum was built in Wapakoneta in 1971. This beautiful building was constructed in 1971. The large dome resembles the moon rising behind a hillside. The most interesting thing in the museum is the space shuttle capsule. This is not a replica, it is the actual re-entry capsule. The spacesuits that Neil Armstrong and his co-pilot wore on the moon are also displayed in the museum. There's a scale model of the rocket and the launch site, and many awards and medals given to Armstrong are shown in a display case. There are also a number of slide programs that are presented to describe the flight into space and the walk on the moon. If you are ever in the area, come by and visit the museum. You'll have a good time and learn a lot.
Thanks, Dawn. Most people have seen a sheriff's department, but our News 6 crew saw the sheriff's department a whole new way. Tom Fickelmeyer has that story.
None of the students in our class are criminals, but we thought it would be interesting to see what happens to criminals when they are arrested. Brian Wildermuth volunteered to be the prisoner as Mr. John Esley, the jail keeper, explained the arrest procedure.
After the deputy brings them in, it's my job to fill out the paperwork, the book-in cards, his medical evaluation, and his personal property envelope. At that point, after the deputy brings them in, they're searched again to make sure that the deputy hasn't missed anything, any weapons or anything like that. His personal property is taken away from him. On a felony, 3 fingerprint cards are made out. A mug shot is taken with a front view and a side view. He's permitted to make a phone call or a series of phone calls in which he can contact somebody to let them know where he is at, and he's permitted to call his attorney. At that time, he's taken to whichever cell he's been assigned to.
That's all for News 6 today. Next week's News 6 will be presented by the 6th grade class, Hopewell Loudon School in Bascom, Ohio. Thanks for watching.